Yo, what's good people, it's JCactus, and in today's video, I'm just gonna start cooking up and see what the vibe's saying. I don't always like to think too much about what I need to make, so I'm just gonna start by finding some sounds I like and then go from there. The one thing that I do know though, is that I'm gonna be using Analog Labs and the Arturia Effects collection. So yeah, I just wanna show you how sick everything is, so let's get straight into it. Alright, so like I said, to make the melody I'm going to be using Analog Lab, and if you haven't seen Analog Lab before, it's definitely become one of my favourite plugins. So when you open it, you have a range of instruments and synths, and these are all actual synths too. They're some of the most iconic ones that have made some of the most famous tracks in history. So you might recognise some synths like the Prophet or the Mellotron's really popular right now. So there's hundreds of sounds and presets to choose from, and you can access them a few different ways. So for example, you could click straight into one of the synths and see which presets are in the synth. You can actually open each synth and dive deeper into it. So if you're into sound design, you can get a bit crazy with it. Or if you don't want to go by a specific synth, you could go to home and then select the type of instrument that you like, the sound bank that you want, or even the sound designer. What I personally like to do is just go to explore and then go to types, and then I like to find an instrument that I like. So for example, for this one, let's go to guitar because I know there's a guitar I like in here, and it's this one, this Guitar for Robots. It's one of my favorite presets in here. If anyone watched my video with X10, this is the same sound that we used in that one. So if I click on this, I can see it's part of the DX7 synth, so I can open that and tweak some of the parameters if I need to, or I could just start by laying in a melody. So I think I'm going to do that first. I'll put in some kind of chord progression, and then if I need to tweak things, I will. So I'm just figuring out what bass notes I want. Maybe that again. Alright, cool, let's build on this. Like the way that sounds. I'm going to cut this off. Yeah, I'm feeling that. And then something similar for this section. Maybe I could thicken up the bass just by copying these. Yeah, it sounds hard. I can randomize the velocity. Bring everything down a bit. And then as always, I just like to bring some of the notes slightly off grid. And then what I've got in my head right now is to have something different for the hook. So I'd probably repeat this twice. And then when it gets to a hook, I want to add some different chords here, and you'll see what I mean. So I'll keep the bass notes. So yeah, I could have a chord like this. And then something similar here. Yeah, this is gonna sound crazy. I want the guitar to sound a little bit more interesting, so I'm going to use some effect plugins from Arturia. So I really like this plate reverb, and I'm just using the aerial plate preset. And what I'm going to do is just bring the width down a little bit. And the EQ, just cut out the lows. Then I'm just adding this chorus. I'm going to bring the mix down a little bit. Got it on the second setting. And I'm just adding this delay preset called Delay Slightly Pumping, another Arturia plugin. This one's quite subtle, but it sounds really clean. Alright, cool, so I've got the chords that I like. What I need to do is just copy this across, and then I need to think of a counter melody. So I'm just going to keep playing these chords and see if I can record something in. Okay, so I'm just manually moving some of the notes. I don't want to quantize it because, again, I want it to be more human. I'm just sorting out the levels a little bit. Like some of these might be too high. Alright, so what I'm thinking from here is I can definitely layer that guitar with something. Maybe even a counter melody as well. So we'll see whatever sounds are in Analog Lab. And straight away I'm thinking to layer the guitar with a piano because some of the pianos in Analog Lab are sick. Okay, so if I just copy the guitar into the piano, I'll see which one fits the vibe. So I'm liking the way this piano sounds, and I'm just using the bass notes and doubled them up. And then I took the bass out the second piano. Okay, and I just want to add that same reverb on the piano, just so it sounds like they're in the same environment. And then I think I need to group these three together. I'm also going to add an EQ on those second keys and just filter these out a bit. Just saving room for that piano bass. Alright, so now I'm thinking I need to add something with a little bit of high end, so maybe something like a pluck, and let's see what they've got. Maybe we'll just go straight to one of the synths this time. So I'm thinking I either want to use the Juno because it's legendary, or the Mellotron, but yeah, let's try the Juno. Or actually, instead of a pluck, maybe we could add some kind of lead. So I like the way this sounds, but I might open it up and see if I can increase the attack just so we don't get that initial click. So yeah, just like I'm handling a real synth, I'm going to increase the attack on the envelope. So you get that little pluck at the beginning, but this just moves it out. So I'm just adding this stereo vibrato preset, and this is another Arturia delay. It's kind of subtle, but it makes it blend in nice. Alright, and I'm also liking the way this vocal sounds. And I just need those 3 notes. Okay, so I'm just adding this delay. It just adds a cool sound underneath, but I'm just bringing down the mix level. Just keeping it real subtle. Alright, so I think I've got enough of the melody, but I just need to figure out what to do with that hook section. I could probably copy most of the counter melodies across, and then, yeah, maybe do something with the piano, but let's take a look. Sounding like some Dr. Dre keys. That could work. And I think I could start adding in some drums now. Okay, so for the counter snare, I'm thinking something like this one. Always start off with a simple pattern. Alright, so I've got the first counter snare in. I'm going to layer that with another one. So I'm just going to copy them in and just come up with something else in this one. Okay, so I'm just adding some delay to the first counter snare, just to help with that bounce. But bringing the volume right down, and I've got it set to ping pong. Alright, I'm just going to quantize the snare. make sure everything's cool. Just bring down this one. Okay, and I think I'm gonna layer that with this ice snare, but just bring the volume down. Just gives it a bit more. Okay, and for the 808, I think I'm gonna have to use the Rider 808 from a new kit, just because it matches this dark vibe. Alright, so I've got the first 808 pattern. As always, I probably had a second one. I didn't want to overdo it with slides in this one, apart from this section. Okay, I'll have to add my new favorite riser as well. I think I might actually bring the BPM up, maybe like 143. Okay, and the last thing I think it needs is just a gun and maybe a stomp, and then I think that might be it for drums. Alright, cool, and I think that's going to be it for the drums, so I'm just going to finish mixing everything. I need to sort that hook out properly, and then yeah, I'll show you the final outcome. Okay, so I finished mixing and arranging the beat, and the only thing that I added was this sub bass, and that was also from Analog Lab. It's just a band called Power Sub. And then with the structure, the one that I thought I was going to keep for the hook is actually the verse now, but I'll play it from the beginning and talk you through it all. The intro, I'm just starting off with that first guitar, and then adding those little vocals here. And then the sub bass comes in, counter snare 2, and then the second one here, and then the delay drop like always. So we're coming straight into the hook, and that's when I've got the counter melody. Obviously 2 808 patterns. So this is the second one, just matching the piano. So we're in the verse here, and this is that second pattern with the chords. So I kind of like how there's 2 different melodies for the whole track. It keeps it interesting. Just adding those little breaks as well. And then for the bridge, we just come back to this section, which is the same as the intro. And then the rest of it repeats. So I hope you liked the video, and I hope you're feeling the beat. And if you like the sound of Analog Labs and all the effects I used, I've left a link to everything in the description. This is definitely one of my favorite plugins out there. The amount of sounds and presets you get is just crazy. So yeah, definitely check this one out. I'm actually thinking of doing a video with a hardware synth too, so if you think that will be interesting, then let me know in the comments. But yo, once again, I appreciate you all for watching the video. Much love, and I'll see you next time.